Okay, got it. Well, hello everybody. Welcome in. This is Coach V. I'm with Coach JD. Coach JD, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you doing? Can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I can hear you. Whoa.
Okay.
you broke up for a second. I'm like, oh gosh, is this not working? Well, hello everybody. Welcome in. This is Coach V. Now I'm hearing Coach JD. Double feedback. Coach JD, how you doing? That's not what I want.
Doing well. How are you doing?
All right, there we go. All right. So that should be mute now. We'll see how this goes. Trying something new. So, yeah, we're gonna do the Frick group here. We'll start with Ann Arbor. Ann Arbor brought in the 90-123 class, replacing the 1-1 class. They lost Frick. They lost Jimmy Henry. They lost Tristan Rice coming off the bench. They bring in some decent guys with Staples, Chimmel, and White, but these guys are nowhere near what they had before. I don't know. Like these guys have been a mainstay, like championship. You can say championship contender for a lot of years. Do you think? Here, I'll show you these. These are the three freshmen. Staples looks like he can score. He's got good efficiency numbers. Decent. Like he could play point guard. I'm guessing Levi Lewis stays in there, and then maybe Devin Donovan comes into the starting lineup. What do you think of this team? Do you think they can? How do you think they'll do? They're not. I don't think they're going to necessarily be the perennial NTT contender that they've been the last. I don't know how many years. What, 8 or so? But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at their screen, I mean, they've been, past the second round, each of the past 5 years, top 10 finishes in 4 of those. So, and some of that's been, recruiting luck. That's something that we all strive for here. And having, 2 top ranked classes on the team last year, obviously going to make them, if nothing else, top heavy. But, even one really good class can have you, good in League 31. So, let alone 2. So yeah, it's no matter what, there's a step back, and you're losing 2 tall guys who are awesome. So there is no replacing that. Like even if they hit on like a top 5 class this year, there's not like a replacing that. So all you can really hope to do is hope that one of the freshmen can step up. Staples being the obvious one to start in the backcourt in some capacity, and then you got to figure out something in the front court. So I don't know how much Frick and Shelton rotated. I see they both played center, both played power forward. So I don't know if it's like a matchup thing or not. But they also graduated their big guy off the bench, and White seems to be tall, but definitely a pretty far step away. He's not like a defensive stalwart. Seems like he's probably just someone who's tall, so he's probably not a starter. In ability. So can either their tall guys off the bench come in and provide some modicum of ability? Devin Donovan played small forward, so it looks like he's probably not particularly strong in the post. If Cowart was at power forward and Donovan's at small forward, and he had Foley playing back a point guard, looks like he has great hands, but probably not a lot else. I mean, you're probably on height. One of those guys is going to have to come into the starting lineup, and it'll be a weak spot. But can the other top class make up for that?
Yeah. I mean, he's going to rely heavily on Zimmerman, and then probably Staples too. I expect it's just going to be a different season for these guys. It seems like forever. Like they had Frick, and then before Frick, they had Andrew Tucker and Joshua Henley, and just not having those guys. He has some solid guys, but Shelton and Donovan and Zimmerman are unproven up to this point. Zimmerman did pretty well last year. I expect him to kind of be their go-to guy, but I'm not sure what they're going to get outside of him. So we'll see.
Yeah, points are going to be hard to come by. I mean, they're having to replace 50 points a game for their starting lineup, and even if Staples performs well as a freshman, he's probably not going to be a 20-point per game scorer. So, yeah, as you said, Zimmerman needs to take a step forward. He wasn't super efficient. They're probably going to have to win a little bit uglier this year. Their points per game is probably going to drop down into the 80s. So that's going to give them a little bit less margin for error against the best teams.
Yeah, let's look at the second seed Montpelier. Montpelier won the PTT last year, so good for them. They brought in the 55-41 class, replacing the 10-7 class. And when you lose guys like Thomas Brown, Brian Jones is the big guy, though. Like, that's the guy that they were relying on for a lot of their scoring, really efficient, really high game score. He's a solid player. They did have some solid players off the bench that played well, scored a little bit. You look at McElhenney and Neal, both those guys averaged over 20 points per 30. So they could really help them. Their recruiting class, it looks like it's a bunch of guys that can pass, maybe defending first. Nicholas Quadra, I don't know. He looks like he can score. He's got good efficiency numbers with 58% true shooting. He just didn't shoot a lot in high school. So we'll see how he can do. But he's got some options. Still brings back Wilkes. Still brings back Willie Walker, Jaheim Crownover. Yeah, what do you think of this team?
Yeah, as you mentioned, they have a little bit more depth from the lineup last year. They can step into the starting lineup and replace a little bit of what they lost, but they will be weaker in the front court. I think that goes without saying there. They didn't bring anyone that's going to give you what Brian Jones was able to do. Brown had decent size, playing half the time at small forward. So it will be curious to see. I mean, yeah, McElhaney should be able to step in, replace the scoring punch. We're going to get a little bit smaller, wherever he plays. The freshmen that come in are going to be guys that are serviceable. They're going to be role players, but no one that's going to really like lead them per se. So they're going to go a little bit smaller, but at least they have the safety valve of Adrian Wilkes in the post. I mean, 7-footer blocking 5 shots a game. He can cover up a lot of mistakes from a little bit smaller lineup around him. And you still have Willie Walker coming back, who's a tremendous scorer. So I think they're probably in a little bit better shape than Ann Arbor based on what they bring back. I think you got muted now. I can't hear you though.
Good call. Yeah, I think McElhaney started near the end of the year. Let's see what he did. Playing some point guard at the end of during their run through the PTT championship. So I think they should be pretty good. All right, I'm pausing this for a second. I might have to go somewhere else. I thought I had a. Let's see how this goes.
My dog barking.
What?
Dog's barking at me. I don't know why.
Yeah, 1 second. All right, let's see how this goes. All right, I'm at my sister-in-law's, so I'm not like.
You're breaking up on me now. I think you froze. I can't hear anything. Can you hear me at all?
Can you hear me?
I can now, yeah.